Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So I want to talk about fan fiction today. So let's start from the very beginning. Okay? It all started back when I was 12 years old. When basically I just wanted my favorite anime characters to get together. At the time, I was watching a lot of Pokemon. Yeah. And I really wanted Ash Ketchum to get together with Serena. That's actually where I first found out about shipping. Not fanfiction yet, shipping. So I was really into romance for some reason growing up. But I just didn't think of like watching actual romance shows. I don't know why, it's kind of fucking stupid, but that's basically what I did. And since I was like a massive Pokemon fan, and wanted more Pokemon media to consume, I went out and found the Pokemon Adventures manga. I read all of it during the time, from like the very start of Pokemon Red chapter all the way till the end of Pokemon Black and White. I never started Black and White 2 because it wasn't finished yet at the time, and it was incomplete. So I just finished all the way to Black and White. And everybody knows how Black and White ended. Everybody was sad and depressed and wanted to kill themselves. And I was crying like a baby. And as a kid, I really wanted Black and White to get together. And as a deprived 12-year-old who could only imagine his characters getting together, I went to search up fan art. Just romance fan art. Nothing weird, And that's when I found out. And that's how I ended up in the world of fan fiction. But before I actually discovered fan fiction, you know how I used to quench my thirst for romance? Yeah, I went to search for evidence. And by evidence, I meant I went on Bulbapedia and read every single quote-unquote maybe potentially romantic interactions that the characters had with one another. Okay? So I did this thing with Ash and Serena, Ash and May, Ash and Dawn, and even Ash and Annabelle. Even though I never actually watched Pokemon Battle Frontier. And I read all of that as a 12-year-old kid. You have no idea how many hours I spent on my iPad looking at fucking Bulbapedia as a kid. No one will ever understand the amount of hours that I've spent reading up on basic human friendship interactions that two characters have, convincing myself that, yes, they should totally be a romantic couple. That was a gateway, my gateway, into true fan fiction and shipping culture. And boy, fan fiction ruined me. It really did. It ruined the way I consume media in a way that I don't think I'll ever recover from. Because fan fiction is a world of pure imagination by just people who just want something more out of a series that they watch. They want things to happen that will never happen in the actual show. In the world created by fanfiction, multiverse characters, and all that bullshit can go together because there's no such thing as copyright, licensing, or laws stopping you. There are no laws stopping you from putting Spider-Man together with Amy Rose from Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know why I said that. That was the weirdest thing I could think of. Don't judge me. And being a dumb 12-year-old kid, I really wanted to read if Black and White got together. And of course, they never made Black and White get together in the manga because apparently the Pokemon Adventure series is for kids. So, no romantic relationships. Which doesn't make any sense, but okay. So them never getting together made me really sad. But fanfiction filled that gap hole in my life. So eventually, I got into agency shipping, and then I got into Armor shipping, and then advanced shipping, and then Pearl shipping, and it didn't end there. I went on to Lucky shipping, and then Burning Leaf shipping, which is just basically Lucky shipping, but the game version, which doesn't even make any sense because they can't exist simultaneously because they're both you. And then I got into chess shipping, which is just black and white, except the game characters who also can't exist simultaneously, so it doesn't make any sense. But that's not the point. How exactly did it ruin the way I consume media, you may be wondering? Well, I can't consume anything that's new anymore. Take Pokemon, for example. Ash is no longer in the anime, so there's no more official Ash media for me to consume. Back in the day, I was such a big Pokemon fan that I caught up to every single episode weekly. And right after watching said episode, I would immediately watch a YouTuber review the exact same episode that I watched 20 minutes ago. So when I completely ran out of media, I turned to fanfiction. Excuse me. I read about Ash having harems. I read about Ash being a secret agent and having a harem. I read about Ash getting betrayed by all his friends because there are like 50 of those exact same concepts, just with a different main girl as the primary ship. Don't ask why that they wrote so many of those, but they did. And don't ask why I read all of it. Okay? I even read about Ash and Cynthia. Ash and Cynthia. As a kid. I was shipping an adult woman with a 10-year-old as a 12-year-old. So you knew I had a thing for older women early on. But that's not the point. Okay? I'm not gonna lie. I grew up on fanfiction.net. Surprisingly, right? Oh, where else would you write fanfiction? And Wattpad. Don't ask me why I use Wattpad. That's just where I found out when I was looking for fanfics, okay? That's an app I found. And I definitely read my fair share of lemons as a kid. Which is basically what they call porn, but that's not the point. But I swear, as soon as I read that they were having actual intercourse as a 13-year-old, I was like, I don't think I should be reading this. So I immediately stopped reading it, and then naturally, I went and found real porn, but that's not the point. Fanfiction has ruined my way of consuming media so bad that I run to it every single time I run out of a main canon storyline. It's not just for Pokemon either. I've done the same thing with Classroom of the Elite. I've done it with Naruto. I've done it with Kaido Joker. If you guys even heard of that anime. I've done it with Spider-Man. I've done it with Yu-Gi-Oh! Art 5 specifically. I've read Spider-Man with Supergirl, Spider-Man with Wonder Woman, not at the same time, Spider-Man with the Invisible Woman, even though she has a fucking husband. I read Spider-Man with Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Like, what the fuck am I reading? What is wrong with me? Okay, in Naruto fics, I've read Naruto with Sakura, which is pretty common, and Naruto with Haku, and they always turn Haku into a female. I like that better too though, but I've also read Naruto with Kin. Fucking Kin! Do you even know who Kin is? You probably don't. Here's what she looks like. And now you do. Now you remember her. I've read Naruto with Tayuya. Naruto with Karin, which are pretty normal. I'm not gonna lie. For Kaido Joker, I've only read him with Queen, because that's the only ship I like. But even though that ship is canon. But for some reason, I just can't get into the canon ships in fanfiction. Because like, there's no point reading them, because to me, right, there's no point reading them because they're already happening in the show. So I don't really read like Red X Yellow or Red X Ash Not because they're canon, but because that's what the majority likes. And that's not the ship that I like. Well, I like Ash and Serena, but I don't read those as much because that's pretty much canon. I don't read Spider-Man x Mary Jane because that's also usually canon. And I think Mary Jane is pretty toxic. And then later on, I also got into Blaze Blue fanfiction. You guys know I'm a fan of Blaze Blue. And I read a lot of those. I read Blaze Blue, Ragna the Blood Edge, going into Fairy Tail, going into Ruby. I read about Ragna going with Celica, even though that's pretty much the canon ship. It's like the only canon ship that I really read, I'm not gonna lie. There's also Ragna x Noelle Vermilion, which is like a clone of his sister, so it's kind of weird. I read Ragna x Bullet. The only reason I like this ship is because of a doujin that I read, and that after reading it, I found out their actual interactions are kind of cute. That's why I ship it. But that's not the point. So the main point is that fanfiction has ruined my consumption of media, because it's where true imagination is expressed to the highest possible level. I feel like it's like a running machine. Like, unlike manga and doujinshis that require an artist, a good story, great art, fanfiction doesn't require any of that. It just requires you to open Notepad and start typing whatever the fuck you can possibly think of. And then obviously you have to fix it up a little bit after you write the shit down, but you get the point. Then you upload it to the internet and boom, I eat that shit up. People eat that shit up. And that's why it completely ruined my ability to watch anything new. Like, every time I run out of canon media, I just go right back into fanfiction to find the same characters in a different story. I've read so many Classroom of the Elite fanfictions that you have no idea. There's Ayano Koji with the quintessential quintuplets. There are so many of those where they reimagine them in the same class systems, or where he leaves the advanced nurturing high school to be in their school instead. And because they're from a harem anime, naturally they all become part of his harem, while he still keeps his own harem in the advanced nurturing high school. And there's like 50 million of those fanfictions where Ayano Koji's just not holding back. Okay, maybe not exactly 50 million, but you get the point, right? There's just so many comfort safe fanfictions out there that I just consume that shit. You know, like if fanfiction was shit, then I would be a shit eater, right? I can't get into any new, original, or unfamiliar stuff anymore because I'm just completely addicted to this comfort loop. Like, fanfictions are always a fucking comfort trap. They're always familiar. They're always happy, and then you don't have to, and I don't have to refamiliarize myself with a new cast of characters because they're all from the show. They're almost exactly the same, maybe with a few quirky bullshit, but mostly they're the same, and it's just so comfortable to read the same similar thing over and over instead of learning about a completely new show, new characters, and all that. So I just fixate on the same series over and over, again and again. So yeah, that's basically the entire video. This entire video is just a justification for me wanting to go back to reading more fanfiction. So see you guys next time. If you were entertained, like the video. Bye-bye.